Hi there, welcome to my Bot Lab tutorial for Robot Arena 3. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple robot. We start off by going to the Bot Lab and we're going to double click to create a new bot. We go into build, and one of the first things we're going to do is create the chassis, the shell of our robot. One of the things we can do is select a pre-built chassis from one of these primitive shapes. However, what we're going to do today is extrude your chassis. And keep in mind, when you extrude, it will delete any components that are inside your bot. So what you do is you just lay down the different points of your robot's shell that you want. And then when you've created the shape that you want, you connect the last point to the first point, and it will create a shape that you want. And when you're done with that, you hit extrude, and there we have the shell of our robot. Isn't that fancy? It's nice and fast looking. That's what I like. So we go back up here to build, and we're going to go to components because we want to start putting things inside of our robot. I'm going to show you how to create a drive system that uses 4 motors, because that's my favorite style of bot. We're going to start off with a couple of Z-Tech motors, and we're just going to, I like to start off by just putting my 4 motors inside of the robot. Alright, there we go. We've got some motors inside of our robot. So what I'm doing here is when I click on a motor, I can rotate it just by holding down the left mouse button. But you can also rotate a motor with these little rotate buttons right here. And not just motors, you could do this with any component that is attached to the chassis. Whee! So I'm going to rotate this motor as well. And to rotate the camera like I'm doing here, you hold down with the right mouse button. So I'm just going to adjust that into place. There we go. And I want to get my motors a little bit more inside the body of my robot, so I'm going to just kind of move it over a little bit using these buttons. There we go. That looks good. And I'm going to want to raise this motor up a little bit so that it's not hanging out at the bottom of my chassis. So I'm going to use this button here to raise it up, and then I'll raise this one up to be pretty much even with it. There you go. That's looking good. And we want these to also be inside our robot. There you go. That's looking pretty good. There you go. Let's move these 2 motors back a bit. We want them to stay inside. So I like to pretty much make my bots organically and just let it develop as I go, see what I like and what works. It's all an iterative process for me. There you go. That looks pretty good. That's looking pretty good, if you say so myself. So now what I'm going to do with these motors is I'm going to come back here to components. I'm going to select wheels. And my favorite wheel is the Tech Small wheel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the wheel, and I'm going to click on the little attach point, the little plus sign, and just put it on all of those motors. That's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. Now, one of the things our bot needs is we need to put some sort of weapon on it. And we can go down here and we can look at what sort of weapons we have. We've got piercing weapons. We've got bladed weapons. Lots of saw blades and axes, swords, and stuff like that. We've got some chainsaws that we can pick some from. But what I'm thinking is I want to work with this iron glove. I want to make a robot that can punch, because that seems fun to me. We've also got these boxing gloves. Those boxing gloves are fun. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back to components, mechanics, and we're going to choose a piston. Because, like I said, I want a robot that can punch. So we're going to lay down a couple of 80 centimeter pistons. Seems pretty good. Well, let's see. 120 centimeter. You know what? I'm gonna choose the 120 centimeter piston instead. So I'm gonna select this 80 centimeter piston that I originally chose, and I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna delete it. That's pretty easy. So I'm gonna grab this 120 centimeter. And I'm going to click this button right here, which lets me move it about once I've actually placed it. Lets me move it with the mouse. So I've got two of those in there now, and I'm going to raise them up so they're sitting a little bit above my Z-Tech motors. And there we go. We've got two pistons in there now. That's looking pretty good. It's going to be a punchy robot. So we come back to components, and now we're going to put the punchers. So we'll start with this iron glove, and we'll put it right there, and we'll put this other one right there. And so I have this iron glove selected right now, and I can rotate it into the angle I want, which I can also do by dragging it with the left click on the mouse. So let's see, I just want it a little, there we go. That's looking pretty good. That's a good looking robot. He's gonna punch all of the other robots. Isn't that gonna be fun? That's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, let's see. What else does my robot need? Yes, I need the two things that my robot can't function without. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go to power. I'm going to put a control board in because robots can't function without control boards. So the control board can pretty much go anywhere. It just needs to be inside of a robot to function. So I'm going to place my control board right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that control board and use this button, which changes the attach point of the component, which is good for changing its orientation. So see, I'm able to stand it up using that attach point, changing that attach point, and I can always cycle it back to a lying down position, but I want the standing up position. I'm going to raise it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to tuck it right in there behind that wheel. And there. That is what you need to be able to control your robot. But I need two more things in this robot. I've got motors and pistons. So I need to come up here to batteries, and I need batteries to be able to power my robot. So, because batteries are what power my motor. So I'm going to place a battery pack right there, and I'm going to flip it so that it fits a little bit more snugly inside my robot. There we go. I've got a battery pack, and these pistons need air tanks to be powered. So I'm going to put an air tank in there, and I'm going to raise it up and just, yeah, that air tank is not nestled in there nice and snug. So I've got everything I need to make my punch robot punch. I've got wheels attached to motors to drive him around, pistons to make him go jab, jab, punch. I've got a battery to power the wheels and an air tank to power the pistons, and a control board to control it all. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here to the build menu, select controls, and we need to wire up the controls. Now I'm using a USB powered 360 controller because that's my preferred style of playing. And I am going to map all of the motors and pistons to various commands on the 360 controller. Now you can use a mouse and keyboard if you prefer, but my preferred style of play is the Xbox controller. So I'm going to start off by selecting this motor, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it spin clockwise when I push forward on the right thumbstick of the Xbox controller. Because since it's on this side of the robot, I want that motor to spin counterclockwise when it is going to spin clockwise when it's going forward. And I'm going to wire up the spin counterclockwise command to the right stick down. And I'm going to do the same thing for this front motor, where I want them both to spin clockwise going forward and counterclockwise going backwards. Now for the left side of the robot, I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to make it spin counterclockwise on the left stick forward and counterclockwise on the left stick back. Now, doing this wiring system lets me use the two thumbsticks of the Xbox 360 controller like I'm controlling two sets of tank treads. So if I want to go forward with my robot, I'll click forward with both my thumbsticks and backwards with both of the thumbsticks to go backwards. And if I want to turn a direction, I'll put the thumbsticks in opposite directions to spin the motors in the direction that I want to go. Now, for my pistons, I want to fire this right one with the right trigger of my Xbox controller, and the left one I want to fire with the left trigger of the controller. Now I'm also going to show you just how easy it is to use the keyboard. So see, I have also fired them to both. They are both also set to fire on the keyboard space button. So that means if I hit spacebar on my keyboard, they'll both fire simultaneously. So this bot is looking pretty good. I'm going to save him because you always want to save early and often to make sure you don't lose any of your work. And I'm going to go up here back to the main menu, and I am going to go test my bot. I'm going to go to the warehouse. So let's see. Let's click right down here to go to that camera angle, and let's try firing the right puncher. There we go. The left puncher. Oh, that's looking pretty good. That's what I like. And if I hit spacebar, it should fire both of them. Awesome. Let's see how I drive. Oh, look. If I do the control sticks in opposite directions, it turns in opposite directions. And if I push them both forward, they go forward, back. Whee! Okay. Let's switch the camera up a little bit. There you go. Whee! All right. Oh, okay. Looks like, oh, my bot has become completely unresponsive. I guess it has run out of battery. So, because I actually put a pretty small battery in it. So let's try to get my robot lasting a little bit longer. So I'm going to go over to Build and Components. And yeah, if you had noticed earlier, there are three sizes of batteries. There's a couple small ones, there's a small one, a medium one, and a big one. And I actually have a decent amount of space in my robot, so I'm going to put one of these medium-sized ones nestled here in the back. I'm just going to leave that right there. And you know what? I just want to make sure I really don't run out of battery, so I'm going to put another one of these. Just nestle a couple of these right in there. There you go. I've got a couple more batteries. And you know what? If you had noticed earlier, my bot kind of tilted forwards when I tried to drive it backwards. That's because these components are heavy, and going backwards with the spinning of the motors and the weight of the front, the bot has a tendency to kind of flip forward. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this motor and we're going to move that motor over here. We're going to just put that bad boy right there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. So what we're going to do to help with that flipping is we're going to come down here to the extras, and we are going to grab a 40 kilogram ballast. So hopefully that should help even out the weight of our bot a little bit. We're gonna, you know what, I want it. There we go. Gonna raise that up, bring it back a little bit, and there we go. Having that weight in the back there should help even out the weight of our robot. Now, let's see how that builds. Like I said, we're making changes as we see how our robot plays because this is an iterative process. There we go. Look at that. Oh, see that? He doesn't, when I go into full reverse, he doesn't tilt forward as much anymore. So that ballast really helped. And I can still do my jabby jabs. And I could spin in place pretty well. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty good, but unfortunately my bot isn't the prettiest thing to look at. So let's try something here. Let's go back, and we are going to go, you know, he's got a lot of extra space. So let's just go to chassis layers. We're gonna change it to 3 layers because 3 layers are gonna be easier to change for this simple bot. And we're just gonna select the top layer and bring down the height of the top layer a little bit. And like I said, I like making my bots fast, so let's grab this top node of the bot and we're gonna pull it back a little bit to give him a more aerodynamic look. Yeah, all right. Let's make him a little bit more aerodynamic. Yeah. There we go. That makes him look pretty aerodynamic, doesn't it? That's looking pretty good. So we'll go back to here, the main menu, the top menu, and let's select Paint Shop. So we want to make our bot looking pretty. So we'll start on the top layer up here, and we'll add a layer, and we'll select an image. All right. What do we want our bot to look like? Let's make our bot look like he's made out of, what do we like? Let's select this skin number 3. Yeah, that's not bad. But then let's go over to this color settings over here and make him a little, let's see, let's Make him a little purple. That looks good. I like purple. So we'll come over here to the side and we'll add skin number 3 again. And let's see, what were the color values? It was 16, 11, and 25. So we'll set this. There we go. Let's changing things up, and we'll do the same thing to the bottom. There you go. All right. So let's go back to the top, and we don't want to add another skin, but let's go up here and add a decal. Yeah, I want to add a decal to our robot. We got some fun stuff going on. Oh, there's some pretty cool things here. Let's add this little baby chick. I like him. He's cute. And we'll shrink him down. And let's turn him around. There you go. You know what? The chick needs a little something going on. Don't you agree? So let's add another decal. And what we'll do is we'll take this pot of gold. Yeah, pot of gold is fun. So we'll rotate the pot of gold. Shrink it down. Oop. And we'll bring the pot of gold down. And let's select the chick and raise the chick up a layer so that his layer is above the pot of gold. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna have that chick sitting on top of that pot of gold. That looks good. Looks good. That's a happy little chick. He's got a lot of money going on. He's got his stuff together. And yeah, so there you go. We have added a cute little chick and a paint job to our little punchy race car. And yeah. So let's just take that to the test once more. And we're gonna drive our race car around a little bit. Yeah, look at him go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. That is a fun robot. All right. So let's click on menu and head back to the bot lab because there are 2 more things we need to do before we finish up. We need to, in this main menu, select summary and give our bot a name. Our bot's name is going to be Iron Fist. That's a good name for him since he is very punchy. And we got to take a photo of him so that we can easily identify him. And there you go. That's how you create a robot. And I see that one of the things that I have forgotten to do is to go up to this build menu and select what type of armor he has. I'm going to give him, because I want him to be a light but sturdy bot, so we're going to make him out of carbon fiber. That's what my bicycle is made out of, and I think that's a good choice. So we're going to save him down here, and Iron Fist is good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Then let's actually, so that's how you make a robot. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and it's fun to do. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to upload my robot to the workshop so that you can check him out yourself. There you go. So that's how you create a robot and upload it. So now that our robot is uploaded to the workshop, you'll be able to download him, play him yourself. Alright, so we have now uploaded our robot to the Steam workshop. And that's everything that you need to do to create a robot in Robot Arena 3.